Zombie-apocalypse story. Part 15. Humans are worse than zombies. They're back. I woke up early this morning and heard shouting. I woke John and Toby and we headed downstairs. On our way down we heard glass smash. Toby had grabbed the shotgun and John had got the rifle. We hopped down the now destroyed staircase to the lobby. Someone was poking their head through. John ran up and proceeded to shove the barrel of the rifle into their face. The head quickly withdrew. I stepped up to the door. The man who had stuck his face through the door was the guy who was missing his front tooth yesterday. Now, after beating me, it looked like he was missing both. "Yes, gentlemen, can we help you?" I said, light-heartedly. "You prick!" The man went to grab me through the window, but soon reconsidered when he saw Toby with a shotgun aimed at him. "You won't pull the trigger," the guy with the missing teeth said. "Why not try and step inside then?" I asked. He stood there and considered me for a moment. "You're leaving us out here to die. I'm sorry, but we can't take any more, and I don't trust you." He looked angry, but kept his cool for the moment. A creak came from above us. Jenna was making her way down the stairs. Tooth saw her. "Hello, darling. Why don't you come out here and meet a real man?" Toby did not react well to this. Moving forward, I brought up my hand to stop him. "Look, we can have this pissing contest all day, but it's not going to change the fact you're not coming in." I tried to look intimidating as we eyeballed each other from across the door. I could hear barking suddenly. Tooth stepped aside. Another member of the group was holding two pit bulls by their collars. "Let us in, or we send them in instead," he said slowly, his voice dripping with malice. I didn't know what to do. "Get everyone upstairs," I whispered to John. We began to walk away from the door. "Time's up." The dogs were let loose. They came barreling towards the door. John aimed a shot, hitting one of the dogs. The second missed, got through and headed inside. I managed to get away and it missed me. I took a swing with my baton and missed. The lobby is a small enclosed space, not the best place to combat a dog. John and Toby could not fire without risk hitting one of us. A scream rang out. The dog had locked onto Jenna's leg. She was shaking it, but its grip was iron tight. I ran over and booted the dog with my steel-toe cap boots. I felt ribs crack as it flew across the room and hit the wall. I snatched the rifle from John, went to the door and unloaded the scum that was outside. The gun had a 10-round clip. I'm not sure if I hit anyone, but they took off running and there was blood on the floor. I turned round. John and Toby were looking at Jenna's leg. I wanted to look at the dog. It was lying on its side, struggling to breathe. It whimpered as I got closer. It was not the dog's fault. Humans had taught it to do this. I stroked its head and a tear ran down my cheek as I plunged my knife into its skull. We carried Jenna upstairs and laid her down on the sofa. The wound was large and ragged. Jane came in and told us to get out of the way, as she tried to clean the wound as best she could. We managed to stop the bleeding and Jane cleaned it. Well, did what she could. That's all we could do. Toby stayed with her. Me and John went back downstairs and cleaned up the mess, using some old wooden panels to fix the window. "Told you she would come in handy," I said to John as he hammered the last panel in place. He grunted. Jane was allowed to stay by the group unanimously in the end. John was the last to agree, but he had agreed. Jane had instantly started work, keeping the room we'd quarantined her in as her own, and started helping with the washing and cooking. And in the last week, since that boat happened, I've drawn up a fitness regime for all of us, mainly cardio so we could outrun the dead. We finished barricading the door and headed upstairs. John would wait on the first floor of the rifle, just in case they decided to come back. When I got to the top, Sky was waiting for me. "Tom, come look at my drawing." "In a sec, Don. I need to go check on Jenna." "Is she okay?" Concern was growing in her voice. "Well, I'm sure she'll be fine. Why don't you go pick out the pictures you want me to look at first?" She smiled and ran off. 6 p.m. Jenna is not doing well. She has a high fever and the wound looks infected. Next day, 10 a.m. No improvement. Jenna's fever is still high. 11 a.m. We've made a difficult choice. Someone is going to have to go to the hospital to get antibiotics. But this is dangerous. Not only because it is a hospital full of undead, but the fact Tooth and his gang could reappear while we're gone. So we need to send a weaker team to the hospital. I have to go. I know where everything is, and John is also coming. He's been teaching Jane and Toby how to use the weapons better, without expending ammo, of course. Before we left, I spent time with Sky, looking at her pictures. She drew one of her house, her mum and dad, and me. She got the bad hair cut down perfectly. We were all standing outside in the garden. No zombies, no death. Even the sun was smiling. I put them up on the wall and gave her some math and history homework to do whilst I was out, because I'm a mean bastard like that. She pulled a face but got started. John and Toby were waiting for me on the first floor. "Don't worry, dude, we got this," I said, throwing a bat to John. "If you don't come back with that stuff, I'm kicking your ass," he said. Me and John headed down and out the door into an undead world. 1 p.m. We arrived at the hospital. We headed into the underground parking area. We elected to walk due to the possibility of cars blocking the way. We encountered large numbers of undead, but they were avoided easily in the wide spaces. The door to the parking area slammed shut behind us as we entered. We started to walk through. "So, where are we heading?" John asked. "Right, we need to go through here, up a flight of stairs, jump the pharmacy counter, find the antibiotics, then straight back out. Simple plan, right? Oh yeah, just don't forget about the dozen or so corpses in between us and that." Not a second after we had completed that sentence did the moans begin. Hundreds began piling down the ramp we just walked past, flooding the parking garage. "Fuck!" "Run to the door on the far side." We got to the large door, pulled it open. The card readers didn't seem to be active, but the place still had power. We ran down the corridor and up the flight of stairs where me and the zombie a week or so previous had gone for a tumble. We got to the top of the stairs and saw the pharmacy. We hurdled the counter. One was waiting on the other side. I pulled out the crowbar I got from Tooth and jammed it into its eye socket. It dropped. We rummaged through the shelves looking for what we needed. We'd printed off a list of various antibiotics and memorised them on the trek over. "Got some," John said. "Awesome. Now grab what you can. Let's get the fuck out of here. I don't want to come back again." We filled our bags and moved to jump the counter. What we'd failed to notice was a mini sea of undead now surrounding the pharmacy front. I pulled down the security screen to stop them climbing over. John headed to the door at the back. He pulled it open and a pair of undead arms shot round, grasping for us. John slammed his weight against the door, and I ran over and managed to smack the arms back with a baton. The door closed and locked. I looked up at the ceiling, way out of our reach, and now looked at the undead at the front. There was no way out. We're trapped. Is this it? Is this where we die? Part 16, coming soon. Alone.